Hello everyone, it's Margaret here with 60 and Me. I want to talk today about hobbies. Now, whenever I ask people in our community, what are you doing this weekend? Or, how are you keeping yourself busy? Most of the time people will say a hobby. They'll say, I'm going to spend some time knitting, reading, walking, whatever, painting. And it seems like we have a weekend mindset around hobbies. And I would like to expand that a bit so that hobbies become much more a part of your everyday life. And it doesn't mean having to go and play tennis every day or, do a drawing a week or a day. It just means taking your passions and your interests with you always, so that you always see an opportunity to sort of create a mental space which is aligned to something you love. I mean, go to a library or just stop in a bookstore or go in a cafe where they have books that you can read. You don't have to sit down and read a book every day, for example. That could be your hobby, but it's also could be a lifestyle. So the first thing I think you need to do is, we can chat about, is recognizing the benefits of hobbies. The mental benefit, for example, the mental state that it takes you into, that you just feel relaxed. You feel like comfortable, like you've come home, like you found the thing that is really working for you. Another thing is reminds you about the need for imperfecting a skill, working on a skill or a hobby or an interest that is, part of you that you really, really enjoy. And also this kind of lifelong learning, that even if you love to do a certain hobby, like say you do, you like to paint or you like to knit or gardening or whatever it is, that there's always something to learn. There's always something to expand on the, on that lifestyle and the continuous growth. Another thing is it boosts creativity. I mean, just the process of having a hobby that involves some creative thinking or some, skill development or whatever, that is amazing for your creativity. You'd be surprised how many fantastic ideas can come to you and just enrich the whole experience. I mean, you're knitting, you might want to try crocheting, you might want to try quilting. There's things that are connected that remind you of that thing that you love to do. It can take you lots of places. Not to mention how it reduces stress. Actually, it's really funny. Knitting is my stress reliever. I actually incorporate knitting into every one of my morning activities. Like I get up, I do some stretching, I have a cup of tea, I have maybe I make some oatmeal or some breakfast, and then I start organizing my room and my day, and I always, it seems like I always sit down and knit, just for a bit, just for a couple of minutes. It just reduces my stress levels. Mental well-being. I don't know why, I just do it. I mean, if it's just a couple of rows of knitting, I do it. And also, of course, along with that comes a sense of accomplishment, that if you're working on a stained glass window or you're working on some painting rocks or whatever you're doing, or making my cabochons, that you're actually achieving a goal. That you've got some goal that you're trying to achieve. And I've started, by the way, leaving my cabochons in places around the town. Max and I do this. We put them in a little bag and we just say, please take these home and remember Zug or whatever. And it's just those little those little necklaces that I make with one stone, the cabochons. And that's another way of extending your hobby and teaching your grandkids. I mean, I think Max actually helps me I know he helps me make them. And I think he gets a little joy out of me. Actually, the other day we went out and he was painting chalk arrows towards where we were hiding it. There's a thing in Switzerland where you can paint on sidewalks with chalk, and it's like totally acceptable. I don't know whether it is in the States, but the kids always have a pocket with a piece of chalk in it, and they're always painting and drawing and scribbling on the sidewalks. It just rains it off and it's no problem. But is that something that you do? Do you paint with chalks? I guess adults can do it too. Anyhow, there's obviously a spiritual element to hobbies, and I think that's just, again, realizing that all those things you struggled to get better at, all the work, all the projects, all the things you were being tested on and paid for and whatever, that they're just not so much there anymore as you get older, and it's part of your world to do the things that you really, really enjoy, that you can explore your personal interests and, create just a world that's yours. Another thing is mindfulness. I think that a lot of hobbies are very mindful focused, so that you sit quietly and do them. And in doing that repetitive, it could, whatever the particular hobby or craft is, that you then somehow gain a state of calm and stress reduction that comes from meditation. And meditation may be your hobby. I have some friends, many friends actually, who meditate as part of a health and well-being. It's a strategy. It's not even like something you do for just for fun. It's actually something that makes you feel well, makes you feel mentally stronger. It also gives you a chance for self-reflection. And I think this is back to the conversation about style and what your personal style is that, you're getting a chance with your hobby to really do just, it's your thing. It's your hands. It's your world that you're, expanding on. I just think exploration of all levels is important. I mean, for me, travel is a hobby. And when I travel, I've been putting a few videos up recently because I'm kind of on a kick after my hospital stay to get out there into the world and, just catch up on all my train journeys, which I absolutely adore. And train travel for me is a hobby. I love it because I have a pattern around it. I prepare it in a certain way. I pack a lunch. I got my thermos of coffee. I have a map. I have a list of things to do. Or I'll get on the train and the first thing I'll do is, grab my coffee or tea and just go onto Chat GPT and just ask, what are the 10 things or 5 things I should be doing in Solothurn today or in Rapperswil, and get, just make some notes. For me, that's a hobby. It's a process. It's a process of doing things, encouraging exploration. And in retirement, I think this is a gap we can. No, I was going to say we need to fill. We don't need to fill it. If you don't want to do it, it's no problem. But it's something you can do to fill a gap in retirement when you're not going into the office every day or into a place at 9 o'clock. You can actually go from 9 to 10 to 12 doing your hobby. And your hobby can be a learning. It can be also a really great way to expand curiosity and creativity. I just am amazed by some of the things that people are doing. Has anybody ever started doing that? I'm so excited to try it, but I don't know. Seems a bit, not difficult, but needs a bit of learning. Is that fluid painting, where you put oils and kind of a texture on the top of the paints, and then you dip paper on top of it and kind of smudge it around, and it gives you that kind of swirly paisley look. And you can also dip like cups, those like cup, you can make a cup out of pottery and dip it in this material, gives you that beautiful swirly pattern. I don't know whether anyone's doing that, but I would love to learn that. And also my creative side would come out in the colors, and also textiles as well, my removable wallpaper. I know there's so many things I can do. I'm looking all around me at things I've covered. Oh, I want to show you this actually. I got a sample of this. I just think this is the most beautiful for a wall. I don't have a wall I can put it on, but if I ever do get a wall, I will learn how to wallpaper. That will be a hobby, because that one's not removable. It's like an actual, you have to do it like properly. But that would be really fun to learn. Anyway, embrace your creativity, embrace your curiosity. I like that too, because kids are always doing this, and I think that's really something that we kind of just drop it out of our vocabulary when we're older. Like, are we really curious about how things work? I'm very, very fortunate. I'm so blessed that I have young grandchildren that I get to take to places like a science museum, or just like a place where there's things to explore and learn and be curious about. And they just never cease to amaze me with their curiosity. And so I try to extend that to everything I do, like even going into a bakery. Like, I'm curious, how did you make that? Like, what is that ingredient? How did you do that? And just recognizing that your hobby has a deeper depth. Where did it start? What was the history of that quilting project that you've done, or that passion that you have for a certain thing that you can't identify, and just find out where it came from, how it started. It could be actually information. It could be a passion for learning, for just, I've always had a fascination with medieval history, and just learn and grow from that. It's kind of interesting. So, nourish your emotional well-being, embrace creativity and curiosity, and, just recognize that hobbies can be a doorway to a whole new chapter of your life. And I even hesitate to ask, because the last time I asked this a few years ago, there were so many replies, and they were the craziest, most wonderful hobbies I've ever seen in my life. But what is your favorite hobby? What do you collect? What do you create? What do you discover, explore? Put your comments in the section below. Why not? You might find someone that actually is doing the same thing. You can connect, you can talk to each other. That's what the comment section is for here on YouTube. You can actually, go down and talk to someone, and just be kind. If someone's not doing something that you think is very appropriate, just let it be. Be kind to each other. We're here on 60andMe to be friends to each other. We may not agree with everything that we say, but we should at least have a heart and a kindness and a compassion. And just to let you know that I will remove people who are deliberately antagonizing or deliberately promoting something that I don't think is appropriate. And I have no problem doing that. And I've been very proud that 60andMe over the years has really never had any challenges with that kind of abusive social media dialogue that so many bloggers on other channels have. So I'm very grateful to you for that. So take good care, everybody. Know that I love you very, very much, and I'm here to support you. I'm by your side. We're all in this together. Love to know what your hobbies are and maybe learn from them myself. Okay, everyone. Take good care.